Hey, good morning and happy Thursday. Thank you for joining the Digital Weather Desk powered by Century Next Bank. What's next for you? Visit cnext.bank for more. And happy Thursday. Again, a fairly quiet start to the day as the rain and all that stuff's moved out. We do have some fog to contend with this morning, at least in some locations. We'll take a look at that in just a minute. Today's forecast made possible by ServPro, Monroe, West Monroe, faster to any size disaster. Visit servpro.com for more. Check of the radar, and the radar always made possible by Brown's Roofing. Not a whole lot out there as we got rid of the showers and storms through the late night hours, or really through the latter part of the day yesterday. I was expecting a little bit more wraparound shower activity, and that's still a possibility for some spots today, mainly in the eastern half of the coverage area. I would think east of Highway 165 all the way to the Mississippi River and even farther eastward than that probably has the best chances of rain as we go through the daytime hours today. And again, those rain chances are no better than about 20%. Speaking of rain, let's take a look at the totals over the last 48 hours, and they are extensive across southern Arkansas, where there are some areas that have probably seen well over 6 inches of rain, especially across portions of, well, most of southern Arkansas. Portions of Drew, Bradley, Calhoun, Ouachita, Union, Columbia counties. We were getting some reports yesterday of water covering the roadways in some parts of El Dorado during the day, kind of the peak of the rain yesterday. As you stretch farther southward toward the I-20 corridor, again, rain totals generally in the inch to 2 inch range, and then the totals in the southern parishes with the late blooming thunderstorms as they exited late yesterday afternoon also really did a number on rain totals. Again, there are some spots that kind of shot the gap in between that didn't see as much. But not necessarily a bad thing for the folks that needed it. I would have liked that rain in a slower soaking manner instead of just a bunch of torrential downpours with thunderstorms, but they didn't ask me what I preferred. So, again, we'll get a new drought monitor later this morning. It usually comes out right around this time. I had checked right before I kind of put the graphic sequence together, and it wasn't ready yet. So I'll check again here in a little bit. A look at the visibility, and as I was building this graphic sequence this morning, we were at 2 miles visibility in Monroe, and I actually opened the door this morning, and there is some fog out across portions of Midtown and then stretching toward the river and toward Forsyth Park and some of those areas. So, again, visibility is not a widespread issue, but with yesterday's rain and some drier air moving in, I would also suspect that fog could be a problem in some areas tonight. So we'll keep an eye on that. Really just depends on how the winds treat us. Temperatures are not surprisingly different than where they were yesterday morning at this time. Upper 60s, low 70s. There were a lot more low to mid 70s yesterday morning, but not the cooler, drier punch of air that everybody was really expecting to see. It's on its way. It's not going to be this immediate behind the frontal passage as we go through the next few days. Janet says, good morning from Crossett. Sure did appreciate the rain. You guys in Ashley and Drew and Chico counties really needed the rain. So hopefully you guys soaked some of that stuff in. Sean, good morning. Said you survived the rain in between Dubach and Homer. Again, some of those heftier rain totals were stacking up in those areas yesterday. Here's a look at the Futurecast made possible by Bayou Power Sports. If an ATV or side-by-side is in your future for hunting season, go check them out. Or check out their full lineup online. Dew point's still generally in the low to mid-60s. Again, we use this as kind of a measure of humidity in the environment, and still enough moisture out there to scour out a few showers today. Again, most of them should be pretty spotty. But as we trend into the day on Friday, note those dew points getting progressively drier, especially as we work late Friday into Saturday. That drier air continues to punch in through the upcoming weekend, and that yields, or it sets us up for the possibility for a warm weekend, highs in the mid to upper 80s. So nothing drastically cooler, but much lower humidity values, which will clearly make things a smidge more comfortable across the region. And that likely continues through Sunday as well. Ronza says, really foggy this morning. Yeah, it's going to be patchy, too, because as we looked at the visibility, some areas are fine, and there are other areas, even with between the observations, that maybe have some very patchy, dense fog where visibility may be down to less than a mile. So, again, exercise caution as you go out and about today. The afternoon hour shows that front continuing to sift off to the south and east. Again, it doesn't really bring much of a window of opportunity for a lot of showers, but maybe some shallow moisture trapped under these clouds as they exit out. Futurecast also does something really wacky with tomorrow afternoon, and it wants to bring rain in, a spotty shower. Just be aware that this computer model is saying that. I don't have any rain chances in the forecast for Friday. In fact, I have no cloud cover in the forecast for Friday. I think sunshine really will win over as the drier air punches in late today and into the early part of the day tomorrow. And as you see the dry air continue to win over, sun-filled skies are expected for the remainder of the upcoming weekend. So a little bit of good news there. Checking the tropical satellite, and boy, Gabrielle is weakening quickly. Still expected to bring hurricane force winds and conditions to the Azores later on today. But you look at the warming cloud tops, and again, Gabrielle's top right-hand side of your screen moving away from the United States. And that storm has met a hostile environment, to say the least. We have a tropical wave out over Hispaniola and Puerto Rico and some of those areas in the northern Caribbean. That still has a high chance for development, but the latest is just to the right of that activity. And if you were joining our evening or late afternoon live stream yesterday, it was already Tropical Storm Humberto, and still is Humberto. Maximum sustained winds 45 miles an hour. It still is Humberto, like they were going to change its name. Anyway, let's take a look at the forecast for the storm as it moves off to the west and then eventually the northwest. Forecast now to become a Category 3 hurricane in the next 3 days or so. This is the 3-day cone, and it, again, carries it eventually off to the northwest. And this could be an East Coast storm, or at least to a point where it threatens the East Coast. Excuse me, this is the 5-day cone. It's just a slower-moving storm. I didn't look at the Tuesday there. But again, forecast to become a major hurricane as it starts to kind of shoot the gap between Bermuda and the United States early next week. Will this impact the U.S. mainland? Way too early to speculate if you have travel plans in that area. It is obviously something to watch. I think rip currents and things of that nature are at least a possibility. But whether we're dealing with an exact U.S. landfall, way too early to tell. Right now, I would think with the cold front starting to move through the region, maybe not. But again, way too early to speculate on that, and again, not a problem for us. Patchy fog, early spotty shower possible today as afternoon highs land in the mid-80s. Rain chances no better than about 20%. Winds will be out of the west. Gradually cooler tonight as lows fall into, or gradually clearing, and slightly cooler as we head to the overnight. Lows fall into the mid-60s under partly cloudy skies, but we should see clearing as we head toward daybreak tomorrow. Rain chances drop down to 10%. Winds will be light. Susie, good morning. Thanks so much for joining the Digital Weather Desk powered by Century Next Bank. And the 7-day forecast, as always, made possible by 3B Outdoor Equipment, the exclusive outdoor power equipment company of the Digital Weather Desk. Slight chance of rain today, and then the sun shines back in this weekend. Upper 80s, and then, yeah, the 90s are back Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And I know folks are going, I thought we were done with that. No, we're not. It'll still be relatively low humidity 90, but it'll be 90 nonetheless as we head toward the early parts of next week. Check out those morning lows, though. Low to mid-60s, and some spots, especially across southern Arkansas, could easily see the upper 50s for a few mornings as well. You have to get up early for that kind of stuff. We usually hit those temperatures right before sunrise, but nice way to have a cup of coffee to start the day. Joy, thanks so much for your rain report. 2.5 inches or nearly 2.5 inches of rain near Ruston. Ricky, good morning as well. So I appreciate those storm reports. When we have the widespread events and things like that, I'll usually solicit those storm reports. I would ask for them all in one area so we can compile them and send them to the Weather Service. I don't think today was yesterday was one of those days, but we will be doing that in the future. Reminder, the Digital Weather Desk is a digital weather platform made 100% free to you. No paywalls, no subscription services, no nothing. That's a double negative. No nothing. It's made 100% possible by the local businesses that you see there on your screen. You play your role by following us on your favorite social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, X, Twitch, TikTok, Threads, and YouTube. Like and comment and share on all the content as needed, especially when we have those breaking weather events. And support our local business partners when you can, if you can. If you can't, just send them a message. Send them an email. Send them a letter. Send them a smoke signal. Tell them, hey, thank you so much for what you're doing. The rest of the day, we'll have your Too Long Didn't Read coming up at around 9:30ish. Your midday forecast. We'll refresh these temperatures and kind of take a look at what we're looking at for the weekend. We'll keep an eye on the tropics, and really most of my day will be spent getting ready for football forecasts tomorrow, when we have a lot of area games, and it should be a doozy. Where'd my Post-it note go with all my games? Yeah, Ouachita is home for homecoming. Neville's headed to Lafayette. Sterlington at West Ouachita should be a great game. ULM and Arkansas State, we haven't beaten them in 20 years, 15 years. I think it's 16. It'll be 16 if we don't beat them this year. We've got to beat Arkansas State this year. Got to beat Arkansas State. Grambling is at the Cotton Bowl against Prairie View A&M. And Tech is at UTEP, which is where ULM was last week. And Alcorn is at the Liberty Bowl in Memphis playing UAPB, the Golden Lions. So, again, full football week. We'll get to building on those graphics, so we'll have them for you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Be careful in the fog out there, and I'll check with you